Hello Pisces, how's it going? This is your April forecast for 2017 and I'm having to make a retake on this because unfortunately I uploaded Aquarius under Pisces. For those of you who had an early check on that, thanks for letting me know. Now this is one of the setbacks of the retrogrades. We currently got Venus and we got Jupiter retrograde as I'm taping this here on March 12th. And so yes, I had already deleted the videos and whatnot. Normally I keep them for a month or two before I delete them out of the files, but I wanted to lay ahead and clear out my files. So listen, I'm retaking it and uploading it to you here today. So listen, April is a very exciting month for you because as we start out, we got Venus here moving into your sign on April 3rd. Now that's just going to unleash all this creative energy for you, Pisces. And for you, this will be definitely going back now into your first house where it has been for a while. It is retrograde and will be going direct again on April 15th. So it's tapped into your second house as we start off the month, and then after 3 days goes back into your sign. This gives you even more extended time to act out that Venus and Pisces, which you have had now for quite a long time here in March. So you could find your creative spirits. This can come out in very artistic ways. Excuse me. Whether you're a painter, sculptor, dancer, or you create music, whatever the deal is, there's many ways of being creative. And you'll just see that even under the retrograde, even though it is retrograde, it could still bring up a lot of good things for you. However, though, now let's take a look at what's taking place as far as your moon. We have the full moon April 10th. For you, this is going to be in your 8th house for money. So looking at how you can set money aside to save, consolidate loans so that you're coming down on your interest rate. That allows more money in the end, right? It could also just be you looking into royalties, commissions, investments, and so forth, or the resources that you share with your either significant other or a work partner, agent, broker, that kind of thing. But the 8th house is also intimacy. And it being the 8th house of Scorpio, this full moon is going to really reveal all of those energies and bring it to the forefront. That full moon being in the sign of Libra, well, it's balancing time, right? How are you balancing your intimacy together? You know, what is too much, what is too little, and so forth. So it's really finding compromise if need be, and if not, it's just a beautiful full moon. Excuse me, allergies today. And also because this full moon is being conjunct Jupiter, which you have there. So it's bringing something out in a very powerful, open, and expanded way. The new moon, later in the month, April 26th, this is going to be in your 3rd house for communication. You might find yourself wanting to take a road trip, get out of town, Pisces, just a little bit out and about. Whatever it is that you feel now that you can bring into action because the activity is there. The 3rd house is you being out and about in your near community. So neighbors can become more important. 3rd house is also your siblings, so you can come to see that siblings might be more active, interacting with you around the 26th. And this new moon also here has just passed Mercury, so that is communication too, right? So something really important just those last couple of days up towards the 26th. Now this is also the time when you plant your new seeds, right? Because new moons are always, always, always new beginnings. And these seeds can grow and become more. So what should that affirmation be of your intent? Well, maybe to get out of the house more, maybe to go do those road trips, or also to catch up and be more communicative with siblings and your close community and so forth. Now, if you're giving any presentations this month, April seems to be a great month to do so, Pisces. And that is because you have the gift of gab this month. Mercury is in your 3rd house. The new moon is there, and of course Mars has already been here in March and continuing its path in April. Now, Venus being direct, this month will come in at April 15th. So it will turn around in your first house, kind of pick up all loose ends, right? And then you're going to take whatever you've gathered, collected there, and you're going to go run with it, because the next stop for Venus is back into your second house for money and income. So you might come to see that maybe some of these juicy things that you've been working on might just pan out for you as well. So mid-April onwards should be a very good time for you financially, since Venus rules money and it is your income house. So you can start seeing how perhaps that will pick up. For some of you, maybe not all of you, but some of you, it could have dried up a little bit. That's just due to the retrograde, not just of Venus, but also of Jupiter in the 8th house. So you can see how that axis has been working for you throughout this time. But those things will start picking up, but Jupiter will still be retrograde until June 10th. Right? So a little patience is good to know, and it goes a long way when you work with the flow instead of against the flow. You can't really try to hammer a square peg into a round hole, right? So I'd say it is time to work on your projects, maybe streamline them, be patient with the outcome of it, because it's not really before midsummer that we're really going to start seeing how that is truly going to flourish for you. But, you know, it's all that legwork, the groundwork that becomes very important for the long term. So it's all good, Pisces. We also have Saturn now turning retrograde, April 6th. Okay, so for you, that's your career house. You could see perhaps maybe that there's going to be a shift, could be a slowdown, but I think that's a blessing from the universe. It will be retrograde until August 26th. This is going to give you time over late spring through summer to look at what it is you're doing, what goals you hold, how can things rework itself, retweak itself, which actually is you putting magic touches on a few things, so that once we get to the end of August, I'd rather say like September, then you can start seeing the consequences of it. And that could be really good if you really work with Saturn right now, not to necessarily push forward with new things, but to actually look at what you've already mastered. What have you built thus far? Where do you see yourself in a year? Because this Saturn will not come back for the next 29 years, right? So he's actually looking out for you and your foundation and how you can really perfect it, master it, you know, because he is the task master. So we're going to be working through a lot of things of career-oriented goals this summer. If we look at now the beginning of the month here, as I mentioned, Venus is going to move back into Pisces on the 3rd, but then on the 6th, this is a very exciting day, I feel, because Mars and Pluto, they're trining up, and this league together, this teamwork, can move mountains, Pisces. Think about Mars being your goals, your dedicated energy, right? And not only is that very fiery and like a booster rocket, but when Pluto comes in behind it, works and cooperates with Mars, you can move mountains, literally. So this is a powerhouse of energy. I'd like to say, though, over these next few days, don't overdo it, don't overwork, make sure you get some sleep, only because I can see how you're stretching your limitations. On the 7th, the Sun and Jupiter are opposing one another. So it's like Jupiter's just wanting to expand and do more of what you're doing, because you're riding this high physically, emotionally, mentally. This Mars-Pluto is going to be in effect for a couple of days. And so Jupiter's just wanting to gather it all in. And the Sun, your vitality might just, you know, suffer a little bit if you don't get enough sleep or you forget to eat because you're having so much fun. And then on the 8th, that might just backfire. We got Venus and Saturn. They will now be in a square position, meaning hitting up against each other. So we want to be careful with that. That is your emotional drive. Mars is your physical drive. So you might just feel a little tired, need to kind of just hang back a little bit, especially because the Sun too is coming into square Pluto, which is exact on the 9th. So on the 8th and the 9th, you might just feel like you want to flatten out and not do too much. And that's okay. You know, it looks like you've really got a workload going, and sometimes we have those, not just like brainstorms, but we have these physical storms where we just cram it all in. All right, so rest up on the 8th and 9th. You can feel maybe a little short, a little grumpy. This isn't just you, Pisces, because these aspects here I'm talking about, it goes for all the sun signs, okay? This is a global aspect. Venus, you know, could also have money discussions and maybe be a little grumpy about that as well, since Saturn is putting some block or limitation on it, and you might feel that you have to defend or stand up for or push through on some level as far as the finances go. On the 14th, though, yes, what is really sweet here is the Sun coming into Uranus. This is in your 2nd house for money and income. So there could be a surprise insight, news. There could be a phone call, could be a message, could be an email, whatever it is. But this has to do with your funds. Now, this I feel could be a good feeling of receiving money, not money going out, though of course it could also indicate an expense, but I'm feeling this is more money coming in for you. Then we have Venus going direct on the 15th, so this is great, you know, because now you can actually start feeling that the energy is picking up, that you won't have these little mishaps. I don't know about you guys, but as I'm taping this here in March, there's been a lot of technical mishaps, okay? Either it's the camera, or it's the battery, or it's the internet, or it's the computer, or it's the let me tell you, that's where it's been hitting me. Where it's been hitting you could be in totally different areas, but yeah, it's nice when Venus goes direct again. On the 17th, she's going to be meeting up with Mars, and Mars is, of course, really happy to meet his beloved, and so the two of them doing a dance. This is romantic time. It's also a very creative time, so if you have creative projects in the work, well, then I can see how this can come together for you and where you can get a lot done, and in such a great way, because Saturn is up again. The Sun is having a beautiful trine transit to it, so it's keeping you focused, it's keeping you grounded, you're able to work and manifest, things are flowing. It is awesome. On the 19th, the Sun is going to be moving out of your financial area and into the 3rd house of communication. This is where Mercury is, this is where Mars is, where the new moon will be. And so you're going to be traveling, maybe just short trips, just like out of town or hitting the country road or something, which is always good to restore energy, where you can kind of like channel your higher self, get inspirational insights, idea, and it's important from time to time to get out of the wheel of routine, because it's hard to penetrate those walls because our focus is right here. But if you want inspiration, which is really important to you, Pisces, we got to get out, right, to receive those things. We have Mercury going retrograde. I do want to mention that on the 10th. It's in your 3rd house. It's going to be retrograding. It will be dipping back into your 2nd house for money, so you can wrap up things there as well. So we got some time to work with that, which will be, in fact, May 14th. So this is a time where you don't want to spend the big dollars on anything important or expensive. You know how it goes. It could turn out to just, you know, not function. There could be glitches, and so you might have to go and return it, get a new one. So yes, and then miscommunications can come, but your retrograde is going to go into the 2nd house for money, so that's where your focus is going to be. Then we have Mars moving out of this area of communication. I mean, it's a great time up to this point for you to communicate, to present proposals. I would get all of that done while you have the blessing of having Mars in the communication area, because that means you can initiate, you will take the lead on any kind of proposal you might be serving to somebody else, and you will get their attention. But on the 21st, it will be moving into your 4th house. So I'm seeing how this can really bring a lot of projects to the forefront, which has to do with your home, rearranging the garage, the loft, or painting walls, whatever it is. It's getting all your ducks in a row, but it's also you focusing more of your drive upon family and family members, and this will allow you to be in such a great place to catch up, spend time, right? And family members might become more important and needing your attention also. On the 21st, we got Venus and Saturn. They're square. Now we had, it's square prior. We already went through that first one under that retrograde, or when it was direct. Now it's retrograding. So, no, it was retrograde. I'm so sorry. See how retrograde is working right now. So now it's moving forward. It is touching that very same degree it did when we were looking at the 8th. So there could be a situation from around April 8th coming back into the picture. Now you can have it resolved. Now you've had time to think. Work with it. Interact with whoever is involved to see how this can balance out. So Venus right now, yes, will be, I feel, powering up on wanting to maybe even settle. You might even find to settle some old accounts so it can free you up. That's one way of letting go of old karma and burdens, which Saturn is, and which is actually shown right now in a square. What feels heavy? This is what Venus now wants to find the resolve so she can be more free as you advance. On the 24th, we got Mercury and we got Saturn. Communication again, Mercury being the linear communication, Saturn looking out for you, up in your career house. So between these two, this is about money. Since Mercury's placement is here, it's about your career. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to tweak? What are you trying to refine? Sometimes we feel that retrogrades are setting us back. But what it's actually doing is trying to help us focus on details so that we can refine it and perfect it by the time that it goes direct, so that we're in a much better place to take on our challenges as we move forward. We're ending this month with Mercury and Uranus in a conjunction. And so again, we're in the 2nd house for your money. There's more news about money, and it could be quite surprising for you, and I think this is going to be something that you're going to feel is good, and Uranus here has given you ups and downs over time throughout its journey through your 2nd house. So whenever we get these personal planets or the other planets triggering it, this is when we have action, like a flashing light taking place in this area. But we have, of course, you know, your Sun is getting all your ducks in a row, because the focus of Pisces right now is in your 2nd house. It has been pretty much, I'd like to say, the last couple of weeks there of March. It will be for the next couple of weeks, so until mid-March there, no, mid-April, you'll be seeing how new thoughts, new ideas, how can you stream your money better. There might be more expenses, but I think those are pretty much earmarked. You know where it's going and why, right? And so those expenses are okay. It's the Mercury retrograde expenses that we really want to be a little bit more cautious about, though, because sometimes we will just regret whatever purchase we've done, right? So listen, that's pretty much the wrap up of what we have here for April, and I will see you in May, which is going to be a super exciting month. I've already done those charts, so you have that to look forward to.